down here in Sarasota at the Sarasota Brewing Company with Vince. Vince, thanks so much for having us down. Good to meet you. So Vince, tell me a little bit about Sarasota Brewing. What makes it so unique and so special?
Well, it's one of the oldest still existing brew pubs in the state of Florida. It's 25 years old. We've been brewing beer here for 25 years, longer than most of these people that are brewing have actually been alive. So, you know, we were one of the first craft breweries that came to Florida. There were a few more before us. Pensacola up in McGuire's, and Pensacola is the same age as we are, but everything else that was in existence at that time is gone. And everything else from that time is much after the 90s. So we've been a little bit longer. And at the time we started, having five different beers was like amazing. Now you're, with all these little beer bars, if you don't have 30 different things all the time, everybody's like, what are you doing? Well, it's still, I try to make my beer in quantity that people are going to drink.
What's your favorite beer that you brew?
My favorite's the IPA. I love IPAs. It's my style I drink.
IPAs are not something that typically somebody comes right in the back and says, oh, I love IPAs. My husband, for example, is one that he's getting there. We're bringing him to the dark side. Was that a style that you enjoyed right away, or is that something you had?
I think, well, I gravitated to it because when I started drinking in the late 80s, all there were European styles, and there was nothing like an IPA at all. Everything was much sweeter. The European hops were much more subtle. First of all, they were all probably old, so they were all kind of a little bit stale. But they were better than like the yellow fizzy stuff that most of the people were making. So, and yeah, I guess I always gravitated towards the fuller flavors because even when the kids, teenagers, when they were out getting Budweisers, I was out getting Moosehead. They were mostly going, the fuller flavored product.
Right. So, out of all the beers that you make here, which one is nearest and dearest to your heart?
Told you.
Oh, the IPA. Okay,
That's
right.
my beer. That's it. Other than that, all of the recipes are mine. So I basically, there were a few recipes when I started here I started here 15 and a half years ago. There were recipes that were already here, but the ones that I thought were worth keeping, I adjusted. And the other ones I just never made and made new ones instead.
Right, so that's something that's unique. If they're all your recipes rather than a little hodgepodge from here and there.
No, everything. I mean, in a sense, like I said, everything that was here. But during that time that I've been here, so many different malt companies. We no longer carry that malt. Oh, those hops aren't available anymore. Oh, that yeast is no longer is now $300. Okay, well, I guess substitution time. And before you know it, everything's changed to something completely different. I mean, right off the bat, the top seller, the lighter golden ale, I changed the recipe and people made it a little more bitter and people liked it.
So do you find that people are going with the flow of the flavor changes, or do you find people getting...
That was a long time ago. Okay. And the most comments, there are some people who will swear to this day, and I ran into one just the other day. You need to make more beer like Ed did, or you need to make more beer like Andy did, blah, 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 the guys that were before me. And there's nothing wrong with them. Their beers were all fantastic. They weren't like it.
Right.
And just like they would prefer their beer tasting the way they made it, I prefer their beer the way I make it.
Right.
And I don't even like when I say I don't like. I don't necessarily appreciate all of the different beers that I make. Why? Like any good chef, you can't like everything. If you don't really like squid, it doesn't mean you can't make a good squid dish.
That's interesting that you equate it to more of a culinary.
It is. Sure, the science of brewing is very intricate. You can talk about the biology of the yeast, and you can talk about the chemistry going on in the mash, but ultimately it all comes down to smell and flavor and experience. If I do this one time and I find it's too bitter or doesn't have enough color, I adjust it next time, and eventually it all falls into place. And no matter what you make in the brew pub, unless you make spoiled beer, like a bacteria to get in or some insane issue like forgetting to drain the chemicals out of your tank before you put your beer into it. As long as you keep your system clean and you're not going outboard with throwing some insane amount of an ingredient in that you just don't, at least have some sensibility. Somebody's gonna love it, somebody's not. And it's just a matter of, and a lot of it was more about marketing and how the bartender and how the service people talk about it, how they love it, how they approach it.
Right, absolutely.
And that's where we are. as opposed to when you get out on the street, like draft beer, I mean bottled or craft canned beer, like most of the breweries that are now opening. Brew pubs are only on premise whatever we make. Like I say, somebody's going to love it, somebody's going to find they don't love it, or they're going to try to compare it and say, well, they make it better. Well, that's in your opinion. Because I have just as many people who tell me the other thing. So.
Very good. And this is a unique experience for Beer Snobs so far. We haven't been to many brew pubs, and
because there's so few of them, and even though most brew pubs, we're getting kind of pushed out because. And all the power to all my friends who are opening breweries. They're opening breweries as distributed products, but they're also opening bars, and they're not constrained by 4COP liquor licensing and variety of issues. They're allowed to basically be a bar with the ability to sell growlers, even though the half gallon isn't available. They still can sell growlers. They can sell you six packs. They can basically sell all kinds of things. And see, they're not constrained by not being able to sell off premise. So it's easier to make smaller batches and get them out and have a wider variety than in a brew pub where I'm limited by 5 serving tanks and maybe moving some into kegs, but I don't have a big cooler space or I'm moving kegs around waiting to fit the beer in. I'm trying to get beer sold, so it's a whole different animal.
well, how does the food and the menu fit into your beer here?
Well, brew pubs, unlike breweries, the food, it's a restaurant. It's primarily a restaurant. You're not going to, the brew pub, the beer end, maybe bringing a lot of the, money into the business. But if you don't have good food and a good environment for people to want to hang out and come, and it's a restaurant, you have table turnover. So not only are you worried about selling beer, you're not expecting people to sit around and drink, fill it all night. Now, as a sports bar, that's a whole other scene. Now you got people coming in for 3 hours on a stretch. You're hoping that you want to get them as much beer sold during the 3 hours because they're not going to be eating for 3 hours, but hopefully they'll be drinking.
Very good, very good. So, other than the IPA, top recommendation for me.
What kind of style do you prefer?
I'm an IPA fan, but I do like to spread my wings and fly a little.
Well, right now I've got 7 different recipes, ranging from a light golden ale, an amber lager, which is slightly hoppy at the finish, but it's not a bitter beer. It's more on the lower end of the bitterness. That's multiple awards for that one, Sequoia Amber. Then I've got my IPA, which is about 60 bittering units. It's not extremely insane bittering, because I like to have a lot of the malty flavor and the yeast esters coming through in the beer. I've got a porter that I designed many years ago that I constantly get accolades on from people who come, oh, I never liked porter, but yours is good. I drink porter now because your beer, and I hear that all the time. During the Oktoberfest season, right? So I've got my Oktoberfest, I've got about 2 or 3 kegs left of that. As soon as it's gone, it's gone. And I just put on a pumpkin spice, pumpkin pie spiced oat brown ale that's mild, but not too strong, not too bitter, but has a little bit of cinnamon and nutmeg and ginger flavors. And I make a really light fruit thing that I sour it up and I add some raspberry syrup at the tap to give it to sweetness to balance. And if somebody likes it more sour with less raspberry, they can have it that way. Or if they want it more sweet with more raspberry, it can be adjusted.
Very good. Very good. So there's something for
that's what I have right now, and it changes because once the Oktoberfest is gone, it's gone. And then after that, we're going to be putting out something called honey mead, which I always get asked for, but I only have so many tanks, so I can only rotate so much at a time.
Right. So there's a lot of different things to experience here, a lot of different things to try, a lot of different things to do. So come on down and try it all out. I can't wait to get out there and try some myself. See you next time. Okay, I am here with the birthday boy, and there you go, Mug Club. Oh, the birthday boy, Casey.
Yep.
So, Casey, why here on your birthday?
Well, actually, my mom got me this as a birthday present about 9 months ago, so I felt like I owed her, to drink here. But yeah, man, if you're gonna come to Sarasota Brewing Company, get a mug. It's worth it.
And what's good to put in the mug?
I'm a porter guy. I like darker beers generally. Their Oktoberfest is really good. They have a cinnamon spiced brown, which is kind of a new thing that Vince made. You might see him running around in the background of the video. Vince is the brewmaster. They've been doing this since about '88, I think. So, you know, they have a little bit of history behind them, way before other breweries. We have a lot of local breweries now, but these guys, they're the originators.
Tell me a little bit about the flavor of the porter that, you know.
The Midnight Pass Porter tastes like coffee at midnight with a bit of pizzazz. I don't know, man.
Awesome.
You know, it's pretty good stuff. The Oktoberfest is killer. You're getting a lot of brown odors. Yeah, it just tastes like Germany. It tastes like Germany in November, which is a good thing. You know.
Excellent. And I see you brought some friends here with you
Yeah.
today, and we have a. Say hi.
We have
There you go.
He's a virgin to beer.
Oh, all right. So, okay. So, little samples. What do you guys think of the brewery? What do you think of the community so far?
I'm having a good time. It's my first time here. It's my friend's birthday, and I did a little sample. I only drink tiny beers.
Okay.
Now, tried them all out. They're all pretty good. I mean, if you want local beer, this is a good place to go.
All right. And which one did you enjoy the most so far?
Probably the Oktoberfest.
Yeah, and why's that?
It tastes the best. No, I don't know.
Oktoberfest.
It's
It
my
tastes the
flavor.
best.
You know,
Okay. All right.
not as bitter as the rest. It's more my palate.
Okay. And now you said that you're not such a beer person, but you like coming here. And what was something?
It's actually kind of reversed. I just don't come here often.
Oh, I see. I see.
I'm here.
Oh, well, good. That's even better for the show then.
Yeah.
Get this garbage out of here.
I don't know what I'm drinking because I just took a sip of hers and liked it and went with that.
The brown, pumpkin spice
Pumpkin
brown.
spice brown.
Okay.
I come here for my big ass beer and my burger. And what
Excellent.
doesn't hurt is if you get the ambiance, if you come from over there and look this way, this looks like where the Hobbit drinks.
Yeah,
And
that's
that's why I like it. Especially this view. It's just like, where's
Right.
Gandalf? I don't know. Oh shit, he's right there.
good.
We have is the lager lover. Our beers normally run $5.50 a pint, $4 at happy hour. You buy a liter mug for $35. You have it personalized on both sides if you'd like. And after you've bought that mug for $35, you can fill it. It's a liter, 2 pints for $6 1/4.
Whenever you're ready.
In my spare time, I don't really want to go here because I spend so much time here. So I'll head up to J-Dubs, and it's a real nice vibe there. It's very, very different. They're not sports oriented, and I happen to be from Dusseldorf. That's where I lived for 7 years, and the alt beer that they had was fantastic.